आप वैसे ही फिगर आउट कर पा रहे होंगे मेरे बैकग्राउंड से दिस इज नॉट माई यूजुअल प्लेस. Maybe some of you already know because I have moved countries. I am now in Singapore. I did not really choose Singapore. You're probably not going to get a hostel accommodation. तो अगर आप एक master's student हैं, you have to be very clear with what you want to do. मैंने NUS क्यों choose किया है? One mistake that I did. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of edX Talks. And आप वैसे ही figure out कर पा रहे होंगे मेरे background से this is not my usual place. And maybe some of you already know because I have moved countries. I am now in Singapore doing my masters here in NUS and I'm still figuring out a way to get my studio. So till that time, this is my studio because I cannot keep you guys waiting for the next video. Now, in this entire duration of like a few months, जब सबको पता चला that I'm coming to Singapore and I'm coming to NUS, I have so many people asking me to share about my journey. Maybe not directly, but then they have their questions about how did you get into NUS? How do you figure out your way to go to Singapore? Singapore कैसा है? पढ़ाई कैसी है? रहना कैसा है? Courses कैसे हैं? Admission process क्या है? And then I thought that, I might just share it with everyone because information should not be limited, right? So I am going to make this series of a few videos जहाँ पे मैं बात करूंगी पूरे NUS and Singapore journey की. ये वीडियो थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन की तरह रहेगा. मैंने NUS क्यों चूज किया है, सिंगापुर के बेनिफिट्स, NUS के बेनिफिट्स, कुछ बेसिक चीजें, हाउ यू कैन फिगर आउट your journey here, and then probably in the next few videos I'll talk more about my profiling, SOPs, resumes, admission processes, scholarships. So if you're interested in all of that, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you're watching this series, and also share it with people who might be looking at universities for their admissions, चाहे वो undergrad हो, masters हो, MBA हो, because जितना मुझे अभी तक पता चला है, there is a wide range of courses across levels here. Now, let's get started without any further delays. So सबसे पहले I would like to share why did I choose NUS, what got my journey to this direction. So I think अभी तक मैंने जितनी अपनी previous videos किए थे जिसमें मैंने अपने career journey के बारे में बात किया है, I have made sure to point this thing out that you have to be very clear with what you want to do. And after undergraduate, after बस दो paths होते हैं, या तो आप अपना experience लें या फिर आप masters करें. So for me, after I took 1 year of experience, I wanted to go into masters and specialize a bit more so that my career can progress in that way. और जब मैं अपने masters के बारे में सोच रही थी, it was less about place and it was more about the university or the kind of course that I wanted. तो मुझे बहुत सारे लोग ये भी पूछते हैं because we have all these options. We have UK, we have US, Canada, Australia. There are just so many options, and now even Europe. And why did I choose Singapore? So my answer is that I did not really choose Singapore, but I chose NUS because मेरे लिए university matters a lot. And for those who do not know, NUS is ranked number 1 in Asia, and the business school in which I am is number 8 in the world. So the ranking matters a lot, the academic reputation matters a lot, faculty matters a lot. But उससे भी ज्यादा important part था जो मेरी specialization है, जो मेरा course है, वो बहुत ज्यादा universities नहीं offer करती हैं. And luckily NUS was one university जो मेरा core specialization, मेरा interest area, उसमें एक proper masters का course offer करती है. So that's why, of course, that was one of my, key priority applications when I was thinking of doing my masters, and I was lucky that I got in because if you look at the acceptance rate, that's hardly 3 to 4%. तो NUS काफी competitive हो सकता है, और हम आगे आने वाली वीडियो में बात करेंगे कि how you can crack that, what is the profile, what is the process. But for now, yes, this was my reason for NUS. And an added benefit जो मैं ये बोलूंगी, Singapore is not too far from India. So वो benefit मुझे है that if I think of going back to my family, going back to my place, it's not like a 12 or 14 hours flight. It's 5 to 6 hours. So you feel a little close by. तो अगर वो factor भी कोई consider कर रहा है, you can do that. But along with that, a third aspect again that a lot of people, might have in mind is the prospect of scholarships or the prospect of expenses when you're living in Singapore. Of course, it is a very expensive country. But I'd say it comes down almost equivalent if you're talking about masters in any top school. So if you're targeting top 10 or top 20 universities of the world, or if you're even targeting the top 3-4 business schools in India, there's not a lot of difference. So, and you can always look for scholarships as well. So in that way, I'd say कि अगर आप अपनी मास्टर्स के लिए particularly consider कर रहे हैं, तो सिर्फ कॉस्ट के कारण सिंगापुर को बाहर मत निकालिए. Actually a very good place. It is in one way powerhouse for Asia right now, and career progression is really really good. So it should be one of your choices is what I'm saying. मुझे पता है कुछ ऐसे लोग भी होंगे जो कि undergraduate perspective से सिंगापुर या NUS देख रहे होंगे, which I'd say is like a totally different perspective. Undergraduate studies work in a very different way. So maybe I'll make a more detailed video on that. But let's cover some general aspects. So one thing that I, figured out when I was doing all this planning and stuff was the housing aspect of Singapore. And अगर आप यहाँ पे अपनी पढ़ाई करने आ रहे हैं, तो अगर आप एक master's student हैं, you're probably not going to get a hostel accommodation, right? Because that's more for the undergrad students or the exchange programs. And I think this is across all the universities in Singapore, not just specific to NUS. So when you're trying to figure out your housing in Singapore, I'd say कि आप at least 1 से 1.5 महीना 2 महीना पहले अगर start करेंगे, so you should be good to go. And you have your websites, probably you can put the links in the description. You have websites like Property Guru or Property 99, and then you have listings. जिस तरीके से हमारे वहाँ पे होते हैं website, वैसे ही यहाँ के websites हैं. You just get in touch with the agents, and you can do your viewings and all of that. You can have a budget in mind. There are different kinds of houses. You have landed properties, which are more like Indian bungalows. Then you have apartments, which they also called HDBs, which are the government-owned apartments. And then you have condominiums, which are again like, gated societies or community housings in India that we have. So all across, it's safe, it's clean, it's hygienic because that's the country itself. वो problem आपको नहीं होना चाहिए. You can maybe adjust according to the amenities that you want. आपका budget क्या है? आप कैसे region में रहना पसंद कर रहे हैं? आप university के पास रहना चाहते हैं या आप सिटी के पास रहना चाहते हैं? So on those basis, probably you can do your search online. You can get in touch with these agents and they can help you figure out housing. And the best part is, अगर आप एक student के तौर पे आ रहे हैं, most of these agents know, so they help you do the video call viewings and everything, and you can figure out it in that way. If I'm to talk about what I did, luckily मुझे एक senior ने advice किया था that rather than going for co-living spaces, because usually co-living spaces are a little on the expensive side, and also they're mostly mixed gender. हमारे यहाँ जैसे girls boys hostels या PGs different होते हैं, यहाँ पे वो concept उतना prevalent नहीं है. See, what the senior suggested was to actually make a group of students and then find a flat together, and that's what I did. And that's been the best decision I could have taken in terms of accommodation, because I got a really nice group of girls, Indian girls with me. So we have this cute little family here in this completely new country for us, and we got a flat for ourselves, which is in a decent range, and it is close by to the university as well. So that's about accommodation. And then if you're talking about travel, most of the people here, even if you're working, even if you're settled for years, are going to be using public transport. Singapore runs on BMW. मेरे एक प्रोफेसर ने मेरे को सिखाया था, which is bus, MRT, जो कि इनका मेट्रो सिस्टम है, and walking. So you rarely see cars. You have cab services just like we have Ola and Uber. They have Grab, but then a lot of people are not usually using it because इनका public transport system जो है वो काफी ज्यादा efficient है. Every 350 meters के range में आपको एक bus stop या एक metro station मिल जाएगा. And it is decent. It is all air conditioned. It is very hygienic. So if you are in the range of like 20 to 30 minutes from your university or your workplace in terms of your accommodation, आपको ज़्यादा problem नहीं होनी चाहिए because आपको bus या metro बहुत easily मिल जाएगा, and you can figure out the travel that way. Now the next big aspect is how do you get your all the official things sorted. For example, आपका banking हो गया, आपके SIM cards हो गए. So one way is आजकल आपको e-SIM मिल जाते हैं. You can maybe get an e-number for Singapore. Staying there, you can just search, e-SIM cards for Singapore online, and you get a number of companies giving that. But मैंने वो नहीं opt किया था because as soon as you land in Singapore, आपको airport पे ही on the spot activation वाले SIM cards मिल जाते हैं, which you can take. They just need to see, your passport and your ICA letters. So once you have that, उसके बाद आपको 30 डेज का ड्यूरेशन होता है जिसमें कि आप जाके कभी भी अपना सिम कार्ड परमानेंट करा सकते हैं. सो द प्रोसेस इज रियली स्मूथ एंड दैट परमानेंस ऑल्सो यू कैन गो टू ईदर द ऑफिशियल कंपनी स्टोर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if it's Singtel, you can go to the Singtel store, or you can either go to any 7-Elevens or these normal grocery stores which have the provision to activate your SIM card. So the process is actually very simple. Main key important thing is कि आपको airport पे अपना SIM card लेना है once you arrive. And talking about the banking as well, all of the banking here is very, very automated. It's all digitized. You don't have to do anything. For example, like I had my account with a particular bank. You just download the app, you put your passport, you put your visa details and everything, and then you get the card at the given address. One mistake that I did, usually जब हमें हमारा student visa मिलता है, it has the address of a university, so you have to make sure that आप वो address change कर रहे हैं whenever you are applying for any kind of maybe banking or your rent registrations or your utilities registrations. Utilities is basically electricity, water, gas supply and all of that. So yeah, and I did forget to mention about utilities when I was talking about in the rent aspect. So that is another thing. Utilities is just like one of your expense if you're talking about. So you have your accommodation, you have transport, you have your electricity, water and the gas bill in terms of utilities. And then your banking and SIM card is again all sorted. I think a basic gist of how did this transition happen to Singapore and then what are the very key essential aspects which I had in mind before I even landed here. Apart from this, I know there are a lot of things. There's this entire immigration and visa process which has students in doubt. There is the scholarship, or maybe some of you might also be applying for loans. So the entire loan process which is there. And of course the admission process of NUS. So I'll be surely making videos on that in the coming weeks. If there's anything particular जो आप चाहते हैं कि मैं cover करूँ, put it in the comments and I'll try to make a video on that as soon as possible because my schedule is a bit tough with my studies and managing everything. And also hopefully the next video is gonna be in my new studio. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, share this video with all the people that you know. Thank you so much for watching.